Hello students, I am back for one more video of IELTS listening part 1 and part 2. In my previous video, it means in video number 5, I have discussed some of the tips and strategies of IELTS listening part 1 and part 2. Students, here I am going to discuss and I am going to give you some hints on IELTS listening part and part 2. This is video number 6. And this is Saraswati Shishukunj-Borsad. Students, before I start off this video, I would like to give you a brief explanation of what we have discussed in video number 5 of part 1 and part 2. The first hint I have given to you in video number 5 was transfer your answer. Now, what is the meaning of transfer your answer? Students, when you complete your IELTS listening part 1, you get 10 minutes extra to transfer your answer. And you know, 10 minutes is very crucial and you need to transfer your answer within 10 minutes. So when you transfer your answer, you need to check your grammatical errors, spelling mistake and so on. The second hint is keywords. Now keywords, what does it mean by keywords? Students, when you complete your IELTS listening, you need to focus more on keywords rather than focusing on other words. Or when you do IELTS listening, do you think that are you going to complete or are you going to focus on everything? No. You are going to focus on keywords. And when you get keywords, I think you are going to get good band in IELTS listening. The third strategy or hint I have given to you, that is do not dwell. Now what does it mean by do not dwell? Do not dwell means you don't have to stuck at a particular point. If you get stuck and if you don't get answers of it, you need to move on. When you don't move on, what happens? You are going to lose the other answers. And the fourth one, follow the word count. Now what is the meaning of follow the word count? Follow the word count means when you start IELTS listening, it is clearly mentioned in the instructions that no more than one word or no more than 2 words. So if it is mentioned no more than 2 words, you need to write only 1 word. So if it is mentioned in the audio also the train, you don't have to write the train, but you need to write only train. Okay. The fifth strategy I have given, that is no negative marking. Students, are you going to get negative marking of your answers? No. You are not going to get negative marking of any answers. So if you do not know any answers, you need to guess and write something or the other in the box of your answer sheet. The sixth hints or strategies I have given in the video number 5 was check your answer. Where you need to check your answer? When you complete your answers, when you transfer those answers in an answer sheet, you need to check your answers. So this is a brief explanation of video number 5. Now let's move to video number 6. Here also I am going to give you some tips and strategies of IELTS listening. Let's discuss here the first tip. Students, this is one of the tips, and the first one is practice. In my previous videos, many times I have mentioned that practice makes perfect, and when you practice at the initial stage and when you get familiar with the words and pronunciation, definitely you are going to get good band of IELTS listening. Okay. The second tips that we have is date. Students, when you write a particular date or a year, it is considered as a number or numbers. Students, it is one number. It is considered as one number. Because when you start listening, it is clearly mentioned in the instruction that it is one number. It is not called numbers. So keep in mind, it is a year or date. Whenever it is mentioned in the conversation, it is only one number. It is not numbers. Okay. The third one, that is large number. Students, it is a large number. So when you do IELTS listening, it is considered as a one number, because many times students get confused whether it is number or you can say numbers. How do you? So yes, it is one number. Why? Because it is a big figure and it is a large number. So if it is large number, you can say it is a number, but we cannot say that numbers. So keep in mind, students, that when you listen to IELTS conversation or when you listen to an audio, you need to clearly mention or you need to listen carefully that it is only one number. Okay. The fourth one we have word, that is hyphenated word. Students, hyphenated word means what? How can you say it is one word? So you know how hyphenated word. I would like to write down over here. Past time, it is a hyphenated word. It is a one word, or you can say words. It is one word, right? Because it is clearly mentioned, it is hyphenated. So it is one word. You cannot say words. So you need to keep in mind that if it is hyphenated, it is considered as a one word. Okay. The fifth tip that I would like to write, that is, do not worry about spelling. Do not worry about spelling. Why you don't have to worry about spelling? Because in IELTS listening, you get extra 10 minutes to transfer your answer. And when you listen to an audio, do you think that you have enough time to write down everything, every correct spelling? No, you don't have to write in your booklet everything correct. When you need to write correct spelling and without grammatical error, when you get 10 minutes, when you transfer your answer, when you have extra time, you need to make sure that whatever you have written wrong spelling in your booklet, but when you get extra 10 minutes and transfer your answer, make sure you need to write correct spelling. So when you do listening, while listening, you don't have to worry about spelling. But when you transfer, definitely you need to cross check, you need to verify whether your answer is correct or not. So this is the fifth tip. The sixth one, students, I would like to give you here, that is multiple questions. Okay. Now, multiple question, you need to write only a letter. You don't have to write word. I would like to give you here, that is A, B, C. 1, 2, 3. Here I write spring. Here I write summer. And here I write winter. Okay. The third three words I have written here. One is spring, summer, and winter. So, do you think when you complete IELTS listening, you need to write words? No, you don't have to write words. What you need to write? You need to write letters. So, you need to write A, B, or C. You need to write appropriate word of your answer when you do listening. So, students, listening, you need to keep in mind these are the words, okay? But you don't have to write in multiple choice questions. When you do listening, there are multiple choice questions, and there you need to write only letters. You don't have to write words. So this is I have given 5 tips of IELTS listening part 1 and part 2. Practice, date, large number, hyphenated word. Do not worry about spelling and multiple choice. So this is 5 tips I have discussed over here. Students, for your assessment test, I would like to give you one more video. There you can do IELTS listening and let me know your score, that how much you get. Students, મારા વિડિયો પછી તમારા અસેસમેન્ટ ટેસ્ટ માટે એક હું વિડિયો આપવાનો છું લિસનિંગનો, જે તમારે લિસનિંગ કરવાનું છે પાર્ટ 1 અને પાર્ટ 2 એન્ડ જ્યારે હું તમારું કાઉન્સેલિંગ કરું ત્યારે તમારે મને જણાવવાનું છે કે તમારો સ્કોર કેટલો છે અને તમને ગ્રુપમાં આન્સર કીની પીડીએફ મળે છે બીજા દિવસે, તો તમારો આન્સર તમારે ચેક કરવાનો છે. સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ, I hope you have understood all 5 tips of IELTS listening part 1 and part 2. Thank you, students.
The test is in 4 parts: Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4. Now look at Part 1.
Part 1.
You will hear a telephone conversation between a woman who is selling some furniture and a man who is making inquiries about it. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello, Carolyn speaking.
Hello, my name is Lincoln Faraday, and I'm ringing to see if you still have the bedroom furniture that you advertised for sale.
Yes, there are 3 items left. 2 bedside tables and a dressing table.
Oh, good. They're just the items I'm after. Tell me, what's the construction of the bedside tables? I mean, what are they made of?
Well, they're a matching pair and they're made of wood. But the wood has been painted. It's not brown anymore. It's been painted cream.
I see.
Each table has a shelf and 2 drawers. Oh, and the drawers have square brass handles. Quite modern and quite nice, really.
And what about the dimensions?
Well, each table is 50 centimetres wide.
That's good. Much bigger than that, and they wouldn't fit beside my bed. I live in an apartment where the bedrooms are quite small. What I really need to know is how tall they are. You see, my bed's quite high.
65 centimetres high and 45 centimetres deep.
Thanks. Just a couple more questions about the bedside tables. What condition are they in, and how much are they?
They're in perfect condition. There isn't a mark on them. I had them painted professionally, you know, so the finish is much better than you'd normally expect. As for how much, I think £15 each would be fair, but I'll only sell them as a pair, so that's £30 all up.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
Now, can you tell me about the dressing table?
Yes, it matches the other tables in colour and style.
Good. How many drawers does it have?
5 altogether. The bottom 2 drawers hold more as they're deep.
And the dimensions? How wide is it? That's all I need to know. It wouldn't be more than 1.5 meters, would it?
Well, just under actually. It's 1.25 metres across.
Does it have a mirror?
3.
Sorry?
It has 3 mirrors, you know, a central one and a narrower one on each side. And they're all adjustable.
I see. And the overall condition of the dressing table?
Well, it has a couple of scratches on the surface, but it's still in good condition, so I'm asking £50.
Could I call round and have a look later today?
What time were you thinking of?
In about half an hour.
Oh, yes, that's fine. By the way, my name is Carolyn Klein. It's on the gate at the front of the house.
Klein. Is that K-L-I-N-E?
That's right. And I live at 19 Domain Road.
Did you say the main road?
No, Domain. D-O-M-A-I-N. Road.
That's just off Ashgrove, isn't it?
Yes. See you soon, then.
Yes, in about 30 minutes.
That is the end of part 1.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 2. Part 2.
You will hear a parent educator talking about childhood accidents. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 16.
I'm sure you are all aware that babies, infants, and children are exposed to an enormous number of potentially serious accidents all the time. Accidents where vehicles are involved are always awful, but particularly so when children are injured. Now, of course, most should never happen, but unfortunately, the casualty lists increase every year. It still surprises me that so many youngsters fall from shopping carts, for example. With small children, however, the highest proportion of accidents will occur inside the house or in the backyard. Many of the risks are obvious, but are often ill-considered, even in well-organized homes. Older children are exposed to a greater number, for they are also open to the hazards of the adult world. This should be kept well in mind by parents. Education is vital. There are some very good television shows which do the job quite well, but children should be educated from the moment they learn to crawl, and so I'd say the best teachers are parents, who can instill safety habits in the responsive minds of their children by constant repetition. In this way, they will gradually learn to avoid the danger zones. Of course, if they go to preschool, there'll be fewer hazards there, but I'm going to cover a few of the important household areas now. Firstly, kitchen hazards. The family kitchen is actually no place for a child, although children may spend a lot of time there with their mothers. All I can say is never leave saucepans on stoves with their handles jutting out. It's easy for little hands to seize hold of them, and adults can even catch themselves on them too. Scalding is a serious issue for grown-ups and children alike. If you are transporting dangerous items about the kitchen, always look to see where children are standing. Hot items are naturally high risk. Cooking with an infant at your feet can be very dangerous. Be careful with sharp and heavy objects as well. And not the least of dangers is treading on the child, or their hands or feet at any rate. Let's move on to poisoning now. An amazing number of household items are potentially lethal to babies but are often carelessly left around. Bleach, drain cleaner, and similar items should be kept out of reach of infants, who have no idea of their risks. And a word of warning here, never reuse juice bottles as containers for lethal fluids, and never leave these items within access of infants. Playground equipment deserves a mention too. Even in the most skillfully designed playground, accidents occur. We all enjoy the seesaws, but do make sure that they are evenly balanced. Personally, I don't understand the attraction of the roundabout. It makes me feel sick to my stomach, but the little ones enjoy the ride. Swings are great fun, but children just don't understand the danger of a swing suddenly coming back and striking a standing child. The results are often big bruises or even broken bones. Fractured skulls are the worst playground injuries I've seen, and these are common when young ones fall from a height such as the top of a climbing frame. I think the slides are much safer. Whatever your preference, though, be sure to keep a watchful eye on your children in the playground.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 17 to 20.
We're up to bath time now. You know that you should never leave a baby alone in a bath, because it's possible for babies to drown in a few centimeters of water. But how many of you have been tempted to go and grab the phone when it rings? My advice to you is to let it ring. And remember when you're filling the bath to put cold water in before the hot to prevent severe scalding, in case baby climbs in before it's ready. Moving on to electrical dangers, first of all, power points. These have a fascination for toddlers, and they'll shove things into the holes like hairpins, nails, screwdrivers, you name it. Points should always be fitted with protective plugs to prevent this. Teach children to respect all electrical appliances because they are all potential hazards. Do I need to mention cigarettes? Unfortunately, I still see parents smoking in spaces where their children have to inhale the cigarette smoke. We all know the dangers of secondhand smoke. But even leaving a packet of cigarettes within reach is dangerous because eating just one cigarette may poison a small child. If quitting the habit is too difficult, please ensure all tobacco products are kept out of reach and smoke outside. Lastly, given our cold winters, I need to warn you about heating systems. Open fires and heaters must be covered by protective devices. Even radiators and other sources of heat, which are attractive to children, can cause a nasty burn on sensitive young skin. Remember, there is never a good time to leave infants by themselves in a room where there is an unprotected source of heat.
That is the end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.